good morning, and welcome to episode 17. Jesus Christ, that's quite a lot of fucking episodes so far. Of the news that broke glass. This is July 1st. Well, July 2nd technically. It's 1 AM. This was meant to be done earlier, but I've been working and on a major binge. So hey ho, it's late, but whatever. The thing is, you think to yourself, right, there's a big massive Boardwalk Budz weekend. There was H2O's Deathiversary, and you think, right, that's a lot of fucking shows, it's a lot of fucking wrestling. So maybe there'll be a little break, but no, this coming weekend, July 4th weekend, 2 ICW shows, a GCW backyard show, there's Onita's FMWE first show, there's fucking Freedom's Deathmatch Carnival, there's so much fucking No Peace Underground. There's so much stuff, so let's just get through it. This is going to be a full review of Boardwalk Budz. Strap yourself in, it's going to be a long one. I did not watch all of the standalone wrestling show, I just caught the death matches with Danny DeManto against John Wayne Murdoch. That was fucking awesome. The Edibles death match, which was good, strange match. Good for being at a week convention with Claxton and stuff. And what else did I watch? Oh yeah, Schlack absolutely murdering Dilf Boy. So I would go out your way, it's on IWTV, go out your way to watch those 3 matches. I didn't catch any of the Cannabis Cup with all the ladies. I'm sure it's good, but I didn't see any of it, so I'm not going to say much more about it. On to the real big shit is ICW Nold's Bar Boardwalk Budz, starting with PFX7, Pitfire X7 on June 25th, 8pm. This was in the Bourbon Room, which is a nice little venue. It's got like a big balcony. The old Pitfighter, I say old, but the circle cage, they're doing the sort of square, rectangular cage thing beforehand. No Ron Meany. Ron Meany was family business, family stuff to do. So we had, with the Struggles, we had the Rev on fucking commentary, which is what I fucking wanted. I wanted him for just Tank's matches, but he was in every match pretty much aside from Tank's matches, so that was fucking great. First match was probably one of the best matches of the whole night. Schlack against Dan Math. They were beating the fuck out of each other with chairs. It was reminiscent of Schlack against Ruben Steele at the not Farewell to the Pawn Shop, at Showcase of the fucking, what was it called? Pitfighter X tournament. The match that I said was the fucking match of that whole weekend, where Schlack and Ruben Steele were beating the fuck at each other with chairs. It was like that, bashing each other, just like fucking concussion central. It was brutal, hard hitting, slamming through doors and into the cage and stuff. And eventually, which I thought was pretty much an upset in ICW, Schlack beat Dan Math by ref stoppage with a plastic bag in his head. That was fucking awesome. What a way to start off the show. Next match, Nolan Edward against Alex Ocean. Obviously, Bridie Madison was with Alex Ocean, kayfabe, whatever. Now she's actually Nolan Edwards' real life girlfriend, so she's not involved in any of it because it'd be awkward, I guess. Match was good, not too much violence, but at the very end, Nolan Edwards climbed up top of the cage. Alex Ocean was laid across like 2 doors, and Nolan Edwards, it's a big fucking like low-key style double stop to Alex Ocean. He had a huge big fucking cut in his hand for going through the wood. That looked fucking sick. But he was okay. Well, there's still a massive fucking gash in his hand, but he was okay. Yeah, that match was alright. Justin Kyle beat Phil Baroni. Baroni, who's a former UFC fighter. This is the first time I've ever seen him. He was kind of dancing around at the start, dancing in front of all the ladies, and that was quite amusing. And then Justin Kyle and him just beat the fuck at each other. It was great. Typical sort of Justin Kyle Pitfighter X match, just them beating the fuck at each other really quick. Lots of strikes, just really good. Really good. Justin Kyle's really like fucking grown on me as a performer in the pit. And the next we had, which was my favourite match of the whole weekend, I'll get to my top 3 matches at the end of this. Casanova Valentine beat Dale Patricks in a violent, vicious match. It was the first match I've seen in a while where I actually felt like genuine concern, which is probably just because they're 2 such good workers. Like I was actually like, holy shit, like Casanova Valentine's like being pretty fucking vicious and violent, and like Dale Patrick doesn't look like he's having a good time type of match, you know what I mean? Like they weren't like haha like laughing and fucking joking, like it looked pretty serious. Dale Patrick's fucked his foot, find out that he's actually got a broken fucking toe. He had a fucking gusset plate stuck in his head by Cass, and he was pooling blood. Dale Patrick's on almost every single match he had this whole weekend was pooling blood from gusset plates, and it is just pouring out of him. Fucking man's got blood for fucking days. And then Casanova Valentine done, I think it was an ankle lock he done at the end with a gusset plate. He was stabbing into fucking Dale Patrick's foot, and Dale Patrick's said that was enough, and Cass beat him. So a really good match, but very, very like violent. I was like, oh my god! I was like, do these guys really not like each other? Like, my god, they actually got a sad mark, you know, smarky mark like me to think, holy shit. So that's good. Next match, Sadaka against Kimberly, which was good until it ended. In mysterious circumstances, because Sadaka, I can't remember what happened. They kind of like brawled out the cage, and then Sadaka like chased Chris Levin, who's the ref for that match, and then like Kimberly stormed up the ramp and was like, fuck this company and stuff. I assume it's all a work, because Kimberly came back and everything. I think they're just trying to make it like, oh, Sadaka, she's from, you know, Zona 23, the junkyard, she's crazy, so she does crazy things, which is fair enough. I mean, it's interesting if everybody's like, if all these fucking smarks are sitting in the crowd going, "What? What's going on here? Is this real? Is this a like you're doing your job right?" So that match was good until it ended in strange circumstances. But anyway, Satu Jin was next against Jeff Cannibal. That match was good. Just two big, massive guys beating the fuck each other. They done a kind of like sumo thing at the start because they're both big guys. Lots of like chairs over people's heads and smacking the chairs into another chair. That was good. Satu Jin beat Jeff Cannibal. That was alright. Second match, Reed Bentley was against Akira, and I was certain for a fact that Akira, coming off Masters of Pain, was going to beat Reed Bentley, but he didn't. Reed Bentley won. I believe he won with the Tiger Driver, and he beat Akira, and then Akira said, he's like, what have I got left to do? What have I got left to do? Blah, blah, blah. And we would find out what he's got left to do for the rest of the shows over the weekend, and finally, in your main event, John Wayne Murdoch beat Tank in a non-title match. I still don't understand how Sadaka gets a title match, but Tank doesn't get a title. Anyway, but Tank was there, awesome match, beating the fuck out of each other. Tank had like barbed wire like wrapped around his face and his mouth, and like his arm got counted down, and he got by ref stoppage. Good match, great to see Tank, great to see the Rev. Tank put over John Wayne Murdoch at the end. Really, really good first opening show. You know what I mean? It's the first show. They're not going to go overly crazy. They saved that for fucking night 2. But I would say my top 3 matches would be Tank, John Wayne Murdoch as number 3, 2 Schlack, Dan Math, and number 1 was Casanova Valentine against Dale Patrick's. Quickly we'll move on to the Pit, which was the next day in the Sandlot, an actual Sandlot. There's not like just sand everywhere. 4 PM. See when I was watching the old GCW Tournament Survival shows where they have them at the Sandlot. Tournament Survival, and they had that NGI. I don't remember it being as sandy, but then again they did have like sheets down around the ring and stuff. But anyway, at the Sandlot, not too many matches. I think this was, if you had general admission to the Boardwalk Budz convention, you got to just go and watch this show for pretty much nothing. So the first match was awesome. It was Akira against Tony Deppen. Two of the best, just kicks and punches and knees and more kicks and slaps and chops. And Akira won, beat Tony Deppen, which was an upset for me personally, because I like Tony Deppen better than Akira, but it was pretty good. And what do we have next? Dale Patrick's beat Ace Perry, and Danny DeManto was in commentary for this. We also got the Rev on commentary, fuck yeah, for the Rev, Dan Wilson. Like Danny DeManto was saying, I don't know anything about Ace Perry until this match. I don't think, I might have seen him wrestle previously, maybe no piece, I don't know. He was against Dale Patrick's. Decent match, quite slow. Ace Perry did like a swanton bomb off this rickety, like wooden, horrible, like wood louse infested ladder onto like a guardrail, like a Jeff Hardy swanton bomb, and he missed. But Dale Patrick's won with like a Tiger Driver type thing through like a barbed wire board set up on chairs, but like it looked like he was nearly just going to drop him like right on the side because it kind of fell. But that match was alright. Once again, Dale Patrick's pouring blood from a gusset plate to his head. Seems to be the thing. He just gets one gusset plate in and then he's a fucking crimson mask within seconds. That match was good. Justin Kyle beat the ICW crew. Just two of the crew guys came down. Justin Kyle destroyed them, put both of them on him, threw them through a door, bashing them with doors, fucking just throwing them about. He gave one of them like a sort of spinning F5 thing into the sand, and Justin Kyle won, unsurprisingly, but that was a decent like little squash match thing. I quite like it if you get a guy like Justin Kyle, or a good example is Paro, where they use them and they just have them against like 4 smaller guys and they just beat the fuck out of them. Good times, entertaining, wasn't it, Navy? What else do we have? Oh yeah, Neil Diamond Cutter beat Herzog. Herzog is now in ICW. Love Herzog. He's a large, strange, crazy madman, and I like the Baska stuff, and his promos are awesome. And him and Neil Diamond Cutter have tagged before, him and Neil Diamond Cutter have fought before. They've got chemistry, they were fucking good, they were just slamming each other and cannonballs and like fucking nearly gave him like a big sort of last ride and Hurricane Ranas. And Neil Diamond Cutter almost in every single match he does has got carpet strips in them, and towards the end of this, like, he was bashing fucking Herzog's head in with carpet strips and they're all getting fucking stuck in his hair. But Neil won, unsurprisingly, to be honest, because it's Herzog's debut, but it was really good. Next, we got probably one of my favourite matches, just because the two guys that run it. Reed Bentley beat Kevin Giza. Kevin Giza's IWA Mid-South sort of mainstay and mainstay of Pro Wrestling Trainwreck. Young guy, does awesome, really well in death matches, and he's quite heelish at the Boardwalk Budz because he doesn't want to smoke the marijuana, the Mary Jane, which is quite funny. But Neil Bentley beat him. There was lots of stuff where they used a big huge ladder out in the thing, and he gave him like a Regal Plex, and I'm sure there was can cut boards. It's difficult to remember. Like, I did watch all these when I was drunk, and then I re-watched them earlier on today. But to try and remember like 4 shows worth of stuff. Jeez, I remember near that's why I've got all this fucking notes. Bentley won. He beat Kevin Giza, unsurprisingly, but Kevin Giza, he's like, yeah, you need to come back, blah blah blah, and he just gave Reed Bentley the finger. Fantastic. And in the main event, another thing I will mention, because they're obviously in the sand, everybody kept throwing fucking sand at each other, pocket sand, you know, like fucking Bobby, or not Bobby, what's his name? Dale Gribble from fucking King of the Hill, who used to be one of my favourite characters when I used to watch King of the Hill all the time. Anyway, Joey Murdoch beat Sato Jin in the main event, non-title again. Good match, using Sato Jin's little blade thing. I've got one of them through the room, that's signed by him and Ruben Steele. Good match, short match. There was just violent and just brutal, and they're in the pit, and then it was just, you know what to expect. It's 2 of the rejects fighting each other. It's going to be violent. It's going to be good. And then very, very short show, but a nice little sort of breather in the afternoon out in the sandlot and the sunshine. It was great. And then we moved on to probably the best show of all 4 of the shows, I would say, NHB 13. Which was in the carousel room, which I was under the impression was going to be on the casino floor because they needed more seats and stuff like that, apparently. But no, it was in the carousel room. A big crowd. I was pissed off when somebody wrote online, they like put like a picture of the crowd from NHB 13, a close-up shot of the crowd for NHB 13, and they put that next to a far-away pan shot of TOS 5. I think the difference between this is because GCW is probably a bigger, and by virtue of being a bigger, is a more popular company than ICW. ICW's only been around for a year. Also, it's TOS 5. It's the 5th. It's the sort of a tournament as opposed to a one-off show, a cannabis convention. It's just kind of, they're kind of saying that they were saying ICW was Wish, and they were saying GCW was Amazon. It was like the comparison, just because they're both in the same building, doesn't really make sense. Anyway, I would say TOS 5 or this, my god, that's difficult to actually say. I would probably say this. I mean, you could probably tell which fucking company I support more by based on this fucking t-shirt. But TOS 5 was amazing. Right, let's get to the matches. First match, a match that non-death matches, so it was okay for me personally. I'd rather start off fucking fast and heavy. But anyway, it was Akira who beat Homicide. I was under the impression Akira was going to lose like every match and then win at the very end, maybe win the belt. I didn't think that was going to happen. But Akira beat Homicide, so good for Akira. That kid is going to be doing a lot of fucking shit this year, as we'll find out after the next show. And then we got probably the match of the entire weekend as Neil Diamond Cutter beat Dale Patricks. My Christ, the brutality, the levels of... I don't even want to go into like the spots and the bumps. It was just disgusting. It was violent. It was great. Neil coming out to his music and dancing away. It was awesome. Like, everybody's putting props in this match, and rightfully so. Neil Diamond Cutter, Dale Patricks are both two of the fucking shine beacons of ICW Nolan Edward, and I would love to see either one of them, hopefully Neil, beat John Wayne Murdoch for that fucking belt. Honestly, it's awesome. Go your way to see it on IWTV. That match is worth alone your $10 fucking for a month, you know what I mean? Then next we got Tank versus Castle Valentine. There's another good one. Just headbutts and fucking Tank had Casanova had his boxing glove and bashing Tank's head, and there were headbutts and fuck me, it was vicious. And to finish the match, Tank put like a big board with the light tubes facing Casanova and fucking ran it and slammed it on. My Christ, dude, like a fucking mess. But Tank won. Really good match. Obviously the Rev. Got to love the Rev. The Rev on commentary as well for this, for a majority of it. I think Danny DeManto's in commentary for some of it as well. Really, really good though. Really good to see Tank. Always happy to see Tank. And hopefully the Tank and the Rev get their t-shirts put on Deathmatch Worldwide to save me buying t-shirts from 3 different people in like the next 2 weeks. But needs must, I guess. Anyway, on to sort of a rarity in ICW Nolan Edward, a tag team match as Brandon and Casey Kirk take on Danny DeManto, the Boss, and Alex Ocean. And the ring was full of light tubes and glass, and there was a massive, huge fucking board, doors, barbed wire thing, contraption thing on the outside. This match was great. Casey got a fucking gusset plate stuck right in her fucking head and was pouring blood. Alex Ocean took the big fucking bump off a ladder through the boards of barbed wire and all the tables and fucking doors and everything, and shit canned straight to the outside, and he was done for the match. That kid takes some sick fucking bumps. He deserves a lot more fucking praise than he gets. And then DeManto and Kirk are blasting each other with fucking tubes. And my god, like Danny DeManto doesn't do death matches very often, but when he was against John Wayne Murdoch and then he was to get in this match against the Kirks, he was fucking death match ready. He went to pick up Casey and give her like a powerbomb thing. She flipped through, then she was going to give him a DVD, they kind of botched it, they picked him back up, and then she speared DeManto through this pane of glass. But obviously in the chains there's no fucking turnbuckles, and it looked fucking horrible, like his head off the side. I was like, oh my god. Jesus Christ. But then that match ended, the Kirks once again beat DeManto. He cannot seem to beat those fucking Kirks, as fucking Brandon Kirk gave him a Kirk stomp right into the fucking light tubes. Jesus Christ. Awesome match. Mittens was there. Mittens got hit with somebody with a kendo stick or something. But yeah, it was great. Good to see everybody. I love the Kirks. Love DeManto and Ocean. Love Mittens. Mama Mittens was there. Mama got a Mama Mittens chant. It was really entertaining. Really, really good. Then next, Reed Bentley against Nolan Edwards in what is to be, supposedly, Nolan Edwards' last death match, which is strange to hear that, to be honest. He's really, really fucking good at them, and he's not going to be doing them for that long, but apparently he's maybe, I don't know, maybe moving on to brighter pastures, greener pastures. Was that a weed pun? I don't know. But anyway, I mean, good for Nolan, he can do whatever he wants, he's fucking talented, he doesn't need to do death matches, but I wish he would do death matches, because that's what I fucking care about. But hey ho, he's a good fucking wrestler. Anyway, Reed Bentley beat Nolan Edward. There was a bit where they were kind of bringing a big wine rack, like the thing Gage got powerbombed through by Tremont at that NGI. And they kind of brought in the ring, and I thought the whole thing was going to capsize. It looked fucking like, oh my god, like, oh no, the light tubes, what's going to happen? But it was okay, and then fucking Reed Bentley threw Nolan into it. It was good, but I mean, Nolan's last death match went out on a high. I mean, he did lose, but against Reed Bentley, NHB 13, good way to go out. I just don't know where he's going to end up, you know, because I'm so used to all the companies I watch him and him doing death matches. Oh well, it was fun while it lasted, I guess. Then we had the semi-main event, I guess, which was Schlack against Psychosis 2. And maybe the first time or second time I'd seen Psychosis 2. This match was fucking really fucking good. Throwing light tubes at each other. Psychosis 2 did a big fucking like leg drop to the outside and just basically like didn't hit the legs, just landed right in fucking Schlack. It was like, Jesus Christ. And then at the end, Schlack gave him a powerbomb, pinned him, and there was a big pane of glass left, and you know that's annoying when there's light tubes and glass left at the end of a death match. Schlack fucking picked up, threw it, and smashed all over Psychosis 2. But Psychosis 2 was great, Schlack was great, match was really, really good. Very short too. So I mean, I see for a lot of deathmatchy shows, and even shows in general, even in WWE or anywhere, sometimes matches just go too long. That's what I quite like about ICW, is I know they've obviously got like little, sometimes intermissions and just to clear the ring and stuff, but relatively for a lot of the time, the pit fighter matches, it's just, they're quite short, you know what I mean? A match doesn't need to be fucking 25 minutes, just 7 minutes, 8 minutes, it's fine. Don't need to go overboard. And then when we did go over fucking board with the main fucking event, which was John Wayne Murdoch against Sadaka, which was violent as fuck. There were so many light tubes in the ring. Small bundles, big bundles, huge, massive, extra long light tubes, panes of glass, fucking, there's so many different spots in this match. I'm trying to remember all of them. To start with, John Wayne Murdoch's, John Wayne Murdoch looks just cool and he takes a big huge bundle, smashed it over her fucking head. Then a bundle and a stick, then another bundle. Oh my god, it was just so fucking violent. And then they were out in the crowd, and there's a bit where like a fan supposedly like grabbed Sadaka, but I think this is the other thing they're going for. Like, oh my god, she's crazy. The fans attack them in the junkyard, don't they? It didn't bother me. Who gives a fuck? If I didn't play into the end of the match, who cares? Fucking marks. Then what other spots did we get? There's a bit where they went out to the commentary desk thing, and then they put like a cut can board up in front of them, and they kind of went side suplexy neck breaker thing off of it right into the floor to the cut can board. That looked fucking sick. They had 2 guardrails up, set with 2 panes of glass, and you know, you're thinking John Wayne Murdoch's going to do is you know, Deep South Destroyer, but no. Sadaka gave John Wayne Murdoch a fucking Russian leg sweep through 2 panes of glass off the top of the thing, and I was like, holy fuck. And then probably the next, like the last biggest spot of the night was Sadaka got done this sort of spinning splash reminiscent of like fucking Too Tough Tony or whatever, and like right onto John Wayne Murdoch and all these light tubes. It was insane. It was an extremely fucking crazy main event. And ref stoppage again, which is a really good out that ICW have. A lot of people will be critical of, why can't people win, blah blah blah. If somebody gets beaten by a ref stoppage, it puts somebody over, but it also makes the loser not look as bad because the ref's done the stoppage. Makes the ref look bad. That makes sense. But the ref's just doing his job. So then the whoever loses can go like Sadaka. She took a fucking bundle of tubes and tried to throw them at the fucking referee into the crowd. So you know what I mean? It's kind of like a nice way of kind of getting round having somebody lose or somebody win or having no DQ or no contest or stuff like that. So I don't really mind it too much. And they use it relatively sparingly. I mean, obviously they've done it quite a few times on these few shows, but they're running 4 shows in a row. Anyway, John Wayne Murdoch won under ref stoppage of like a light tube in her head or pulling her mask off. And, but it was really, really good. Say, top 3 matches. 3 Tank Casanova / the tag match. Join them together as joint third. John Wayne Murdoch, Sadaka number 2 and number 1. Match of the fucking weekend. Patrick's against Neil Diamond Cutter. Can't fucking complain. Fucking one of the best NHB shows there's been. Hey, Navy. What do you think? You like Sadaka, don't you, Navy? Yes, you do. Now, moving swiftly on to the final show. I don't know why I've done a total review. This fucking episode's going to be so long. Pitfire X8, this is June 27th, 8 PM in the Bourbon Room again, with that lovely stage and the lovely little balcony. So the fucking commentary team can actually see what's happening, which is nice. Nolan Edwards beats Grim Reaper, which was a good match. What was the finish? There was like a sort of ladder contraption set up, and Nolan Edwards gave Grim Reaper like a drill bit like off the contraption thing through 2 doors, but before they got to that, they were in the crowd like underneath the balcony, so the commentary couldn't see, and they were chopping each other and kicking each other and throwing each other and running kicks and knees and everything. It was really, really good, really entertaining, but the ending spot, the drill bit's such a fucking cool move. Next, Tony Deppen beats Beef twice They were beating the fuck each other, running knees and chops and slaps and forearms and fucking, oh my god, it was really good. Deppin beats Beef by ref stoppage, and then Beef gets pissed off, calls out Tony Deppin again. Tony Deppin comes out and he gives him like 1800 like running knees to the face, and then Beef gets ref stoppage again and he's down, and that was really entertaining. Beef was really good. I enjoyed him. And then next we got Max the Impaler against Brandon Kirk, and they finally got to use, there's a big board of barbed wire that said fuck the Kirks. They never got to use it NHB 13, but they got to use it tonight. Max just pretty much destroyed Brandon Kirk, but I mean Brandon Kirk did get a little bit of office in. He did fucking like batter her with a door, and he did beat her in the head and in the back with thumbtack bat, but I mean it was pretty elemental. Max the Impaler, who I'd never really seen before, I think I'd seen little clips in ROH or something like that, beat Brandon Kirk, and she's coming back for Pit Fighter, which is this fucking weekend. The ICW fucking train of violence never fucking stops. Next, Sato Jin and Dan Maff. This was interesting. Two big massive guys are beating the fuck at each other, and then this match just got stopped because apparently somebody was smoking or somebody was doing something, and the fire marshal had to get called, and fucking Demanto and John B. Murdoch and everything were down. And then the match got restarted, but my Christ almighty, it's a pain in the ass for the two guys, but the match did get restarted. It's not that big of a fucking deal. The show didn't get cancelled. Life is okay. Dan Maff went to give Sato Jin the Burning Hammer, and Sato was on this chair. The chair kind of slipped from on him and he kind of fell. And then I think it was onto like a guardrail or onto another chair, and like Danny DeManto just picked him up afterwards and gave him a backdrop driver like right on his fucking head on it. I was like, oh my god, I thought he was dead. Jesus Christ, what a scary fucking bump. But Dan Maff beat Sato Jin. Love Sato Jin. Still one of my favourite wrestlers. Dan Maff's still a fucking murderer. He's going to be fighting Akira on the fucking Pit Fighter this weekend as well. That's going to be awesome. Next match, Kimberly was back after she said fuck this company. Naughty. It was against a woman I'd never seen before, beat Slamovich. This was a really good match. I'd say I like this better than the Sadika match for Kimberly, because I didn't have such like a confusing ending. But just beating the fuck at each other. They're both bleeding profusely at the end. And there's Kimberly gave her a sort of running fucking powerbomb through a door set up on the side of the cage and won. Kimberly's fucking awesome. Both those girls were great. I'd love to see a rematch of that. Maybe inside the chains. And then we moved on to one of the greatest matches of the weekend for me as well. Dale Patrick's, the man who bleeds buckets, the man who's the new favourite son of the ICW faithful, beat Kevin Geezer in a fucking sick match. Kevin Geezer, I believe, after reading the thing online, that they're the current IW Mid-South Tag Team Champions, those two. But anyway, gussets again. Fucking gussets in people's heads and their backs. Fucking, oh, it was just, Jesus Christ. Disturbing shit. And the final spot of fucking this one, Kevin Geezer ran off the stage and gave a big double stomp thing to Patrick's, but Kevin Geezer went to run at the cage and ran away. Patrick's chased after him. Patrick's picked him up for chokeslam style and like threw him off the stage over this cell barricade thing, missed it by a bit that much, right through like a barbed wire door in the middle, and ref stoppage's done. But my god, he could have fucking landed his head right on the side there, but good, he managed to push him, safe fucking bump. Good fucking job, guys, awesome fucking match. Oh my god, I'm still only on page 2 of my fucking notes for this fucking week, Jesus Christ. Then Neil Diamond Cutter beats Reed Bentley. I don't think I would see the day that NDC picked up a win over Reed Bentley in ICW, but here we are, awesome fucking match. Every single fucking match has got Neil Diamond Cutter, it's got fucking carpet strips. Carpet strip bats, carpet strip fucking sticks, a carpet strip wine rack thing that fell over, which was a shame, but it was funny. Carpet strip doors, but this was just fucking so many like a carpet strip of bats to fucking Neil's back and his chest, and just, oh my god, it was just, you don't get to really see the appeal of like how fucked up they get from those carpet strips. What a good match though, what a great fucking match, and Neil wins with a big splash off the top, pins Reed Bentley, gets another big victory in ICW, and basically says, John Wayne Murdoch, come for that fucking belt, please Neil, win that belt for me. And then the main event which was match of the night for this show. Basically, probably the matches of the night were the last three matches, and then Deppin and Beef. But anyway, it was John B. Murdoch beat Akira in a violent pit fire match with glass and light tubes, which is very rarely seen in the pit. I think Danny DeMando said we don't use glass in the pit, and then John B. Murdoch just brings out light tubes anyway. He's John B. Murdoch, he does what he fucking wants, you know. Light tube bundles. Fucking, oh Jesus Christ, the amount of blood that those two guys were going through, and just to quickly get through it, there was fucking brainbuster. Akira, I think it was John B. Murdoch was going to give Akira like the brainbuster in the chair. Akira kind of gave him like the sort of fucking snowplow thing through the chair, and then Akira was trying to throw this pane of glass at John B. Murdoch, wouldn't break. Smacking it with a chair, wouldn't break. Then he was going to give him like the snowplow thing through the glass. John B. Murdoch picked him up, fucking Death Valley Driver, brainbuster through the glass, 1, 2, 3, and John B. Murdoch retains his title and won in the final match. What a fucking weekend. Oh yeah, and afterwards, Akira fucking called out Masada for No Holds Barred in Texas. So, oh my fucking god, there's so much ICW fucking violence. So fucking good. Top 3 matches. Like I said, Depp and Beef probably close third, with Neil and Reed, Patrick's and Giza number 2. Like all 3 of those matches I just mentioned, they were like number 2, 3, and then number 1 John B. Murdoch, Akira. But my god, what a fucking weekend. So much blood and violence, so many good matches, not a bad match on any of the 4 fucking shows. ICW is, I might be a mark, but it was fucking great. Go out your way to fucking watch it on IWTV, it was so fucking good. Now, move on. These are the there's so much, this is even more ICW Notes Bar news. Never fucking ends. So this weekend, July 3rd, 8 PM on the Saturday, is PFX 9 in the fucking Bloodshed. We've got some new matches announced for that, already announced for the card so far. Satujin against Max the Impaler, Jeff Cannonball against John B. Murdoch, Dan Math against Akira, and in the past few days we've had like 3 new matches announced. One of them just announced like a couple hours ago. Bobby Beverly's against Vincent Nothing. And I remember there was a tag team called Faith in Nothing back in the good old days, and I'm almost certain that Christian Faith was RSP, because I'm sure that was at Carnage Cup 5? Danny Havoc was against Christian Faith, but it's just RSP in a mask. I'm sure Faith in Nothing was the tag team. Anyway, enough history lessons. Dale Patricks is going to be against Eric fucking Ryan. And Gary J's back, fuck yeah, is going to be against Azrael, who's fucking come out of nowhere. It's going to be fucking awesome. So that's like 6 matches who got announced for that, probably get 1 more added. And then the following night, NHB 14, this is going to be sick. There's so much ICW shit happening. This is so, like, just from having Boardwalk Budz, for you to go from April to the end of June without a show, and then you've got 3 weeks in a row of shows, it's fucking crazy. So NHB 14, this is July 4th at 7 PM. In the Bloodshed, we've got, so the matches that are announced so far, we had John B. Murdoch against Dan Math for the world title. Sorry, not the world title, the American Deathmatch Championship. Ace Perry is against Reed Bentley, so that'll be interesting. Ace Perry's back. And then Neil Diamond Cutter is against Insane Lane. That'll be fucking awesome. And then we've got 4 other matches that have been announced in the past couple of days. The Bev is against Akira. Herzog, fuck yeah, is against Jeff Cannonball. That'll be fucking good. Mitch Vallon from fucking H2O, Jeff Cannonball's tag team partner, is making his debut in ICW. Is against Satujin. That'll be fucking awesome. And big fucking Shane Mercer is going to fight Gary J. So hopefully fucking Gary J gets some wins. I love him in ICW, he just never seems to win. So that is this coming weekend. It's going to be fucking awesome. I'll be watching both those shows live. I'll be making highlights videos of them. And I'm going to be making a highlight video of the whole entire Boardwalk Budz weekend. I've been so busy with work and various other alcoholic endeavours over the past week that it's subsided in my list of things to do. I've got a Boardwalk Budz big compilation thing of things I'm going to do. Both these 2 shows. I also need to do Masters of Pain. I still need to do Southern Sickness Night 2. I've got so much stuff to do. I'll get to all eventually. You know, hey ho, no rest for the wicked, as they fucking say. And then moving on, even more fucking ICW Nold's Bar news. For the Indianapolis, Indiana show, this is on July 10th, 8 PM, which I assume will be NHB 15? 16, I think. This is the Saturday. Or the... one of the two. I can't remember. Anyway, whichever one's on July 10th. And the Marion County Fairgrounds and fucking event fucking centre. Said that so many times I can't even fucking say it. So we've got 2 new matches announced for that. What is everybody knew? Justin Kyle is going to be against John Wayne Murdoch in the motherfucking title fight. Yeah, this is the Saturday show because the main event of the other show is the H2, the 440 against the Rejects match. And then also for the July 10th show we've now got Dale Patricks against Brandon fucking Kirk. So that was going to be fucking awesome. And obviously, finally for the ICW thing, we've got Akira against Masada in Texas. This is in San Antonio in the Vibes Event Center on August 14th. Tickets available for all these shows online now. Now, quickly to GCW. This is very, very ICW heavy this episode. But hey ho, they have got their on the 4th, which is going to run at the same time as NHB 14. I'll tell you which fucking show I'll be watching. It'll be fucking NHB. Nothing against the guys in GCW, I just think it'll be a better show. The Backyard Wrestling 3. I'll say that I will probably watch like 3 matches that are going to be on this show. I'll be watching Otis Kogar against Atticus Kogar. They've kind of got this little thing where Otis wanted to be like The Undertaker because he was born in 1990. And Atticus wanted to be Kane because his favourite wrestler's Kane, and he was born in 1997, like the 2 years that they debuted, and they're both going to be wearing masks, and they'll be like Kane against The Undertaker, so that'll be interesting. What other match? There's, what's the other match I want to see? They're going to do Kit Osborne again against Chris Dickinson, but this time it's going to be a Buried Alive match. Fucking hell. And also JJ Escobar's there, so that'll be interesting. I can't even remember for the life of me who he's fighting, but it'll be up there, so that'll be fucking good. There'll be there's loads of other matches, and there's like a big Survivor Series scramble and everything, but I'll be watching the matches that I want to see. Anyway, GCW in Mexico. So obviously we've got the Zona 23 show, but now we have got 2 different shows. So on July 16th, this is NGX versus GCW. This fucking crazy matches. So NGX against GCW, we've got Alex Colon and Schlack versus Sick Boy and Sikotico. If I'm going to get these names wrong, don't blame me, I'm Scottish. It's not my fault. Then we also have Eric Ryan and G Raver teaming up against Siglope and Alberto Rios. Like Esse Rios, I've heard that name before. Then we also have, what else do we have? Aero Boy versus Baby Extreme versus Jimmy Lloyd. So they've got basically the GCW 5 guys in those matches. There's other matches announced, but I'll not bother going over them because I assume no one's interested, to be honest. Then July 17th, this is Vanguardia, so Lucha Extrema Vanguardia against GCW, and this is going to be fucking crazy. Now, moving on to the 17th of July, GCW events against Vanguardia Lucha Extrema. So this is going to be fucking interesting. So the main event of this show, which is called Deathmatch Elite por Sempre or whatever, is going to be Medio Extremo and Siglope defending the GCW World Tag Team titles against G Raver and Jimmy fucking Lloyd, who have been having a rivalry for about 8 months or more, or probably even since G Raver got injured in GCW. Are they going to have them win? Are Medio Extremo and Siglope going to retain those titles? This is what I would want to happen. Just keep them on the belts for another fucking 2 years. Fuck it. Then we've also got Eric Ryan and Charlie Rockstar, who are going to be against Billy Jeff Killer. I assume that is a tag team. And they are against Aero Boy Wiley Mago. Aero Boy, like Aero Boy. Then we've also got a match for another GCW Championship, which is the Ultra Violent Championship, which we didn't see at TOS. We have not seen it since Planet Death when it had a sticker on it. But Crazy King is going to be fighting Alex fucking Colon. That'll be fucking awesome. Maybe he'll bring the new belt down with him then. And what other matches do we have? The only other match that is featuring the GCW boys is a 4-way death match, I believe. It's Jitsu versus Lobo Blanco Jr. versus Aaron Sykes versus Schlack. So, interesting, various different teams. Just the fact that the tag titles are being defended, and the fact they're being defended against G Raver and Jimmy Lloyd is fucking crazy. Anyway, just a small bit of GCW-ish news. There's a show called by a company called VXS. It's something I don't watch, not really my cup of tea. Anyway, the Mosh Pit Killer is the name of the show. This is on July 3rd, this Saturday. Nolan Edward was meant to be fighting Nick Gage, but Gage is pulled out. Not be given a reason why Gage is pulled out, but it has also coincided with the fact that Nolan Edward has quit Deathmatch Wrestling. Are the two combined? Are the two not combined? Does anyone care? It's all speculation. Who fucking knows? Anyway, just a side that Rick's slightly interesting. Where are we? Now, move on to some small amount of UK news. We have a new TNT Extreme Division champion in Clint Margera. The show going off big time, which was on the last Friday, I think. He beat BT Gunn, Big Fucking Joe, and Jack Jester in a light tube Legos bloody 4-way death match. I think Stevie Boy from ICW was meant to be there. ICW, the Scottish ICW, but BT Gunn took his place. So I mean, hey ho. But I mean, good for Clint Margera. He fucking deserves it. I will move on to some Japanese news before we finally move on to the last review of the show. Drew Parker fucking beat Ito in the Deathmatch Survivor final on June 28th, and his back was fucked. There was no canvas, there was light tubes, there was panes of glass. He got thrown through a pane of glass. There was a huge cut in his back, and it had to get taped up about fucking 4 times by the ring crew. And Jesus Christ, the match was good. There was some dives outside the ring. I think it could have been a lot better if Drew didn't get hurt, because they were having to take a lot of time to tape up his back. He still won with a sort of senton thing off the top, beat Ito, and became the third man, the third American, or the third non-Japanese person to win a deathmatch tournament in Japan. Because in 1995 we had Mick Foley winning the Cactus Jack, winning the 1995 IWA deathmatch thing. And then we had Masada winning Deathmatch Carnival, I think, in 2010. And then now we've got Drew Parker in 2021, so only 3 non-Japanese guys have won that. So that's fucking amazing for Drew Parker, good for him. And then I assume now he gets a title shot against the big Japan World Champion, which is Sakamoto, I believe. I think it is. Now we'll move on to the July 4th Deathmatch of Hell, FMWE. There's so much fucking wrestling this weekend, it's fucking unreal. I'm just trying to get some piece to try and make some fucking wrestling videos for this weekend. There's too much happening. So we've not really got any more matches, I don't think, announced for July 4th. We've just got the final entrance for the match. We've got Minoru Fujita, Ricky Fuji and Onita in the Deathmatch of Hell match against Abdullah Kobayashi, Onryo, who's somebody I've never heard of, and Miyamoto, which will be interesting. Abdullah Kobayashi may have his bike blown up, Onita may have his jacket blown up. Who knows? And we will quickly move on finally to H2O's Deathiversary, which was on at the same time as fucking NHB 13. It was on earlier, but the last like 45 minutes of H2O Deathiversary. My cat's playing one of our wee ball toys. It was like the last 45 minutes of Deathiversary was at the same time as, so I didn't watch. I watched it after the fact. I won't go over the whole show. H2O won all the belts. Fantastic. I told you it would happen. Nobody listened. They might have done. They may have just not actively said it out loud. Just a side note before I start going over the matches. Smart Mark Gary and his partner, who lost her life recently, were inducted into the Hall of Fame for H2O. Really very nice moment. Obviously, Smart Mark Gary filming there. He didn't know it was going to happen. He seemed very, very touched by the moment. So that was nice. Just in my top 5 matches, the matches Kennedy Copeland against Nolan Edward was the opener. Nolan Edward still has fucking ring gear and a little bag, because he was at... So he must have just appeared at that show opening that show, and then he must have went all the way to Atlantic City and then opened, and then been in the other match at NHB 13. What a young man. That match was great. Edward won. The fourth best match I would say for me was Bam Sullivan against Declan Grant, just because of Bam Sullivan in it. What a heel, like ripping on the crowd for not being able to count to 10 and everything. Declan Grant had a machete, and Declan Grant won with a TKO, unfortunately. I'd rather Bam won, but hey ho, hey ho. And then I would say my third favourite match was RSP against Chuck Payne. Chuck Payne threw his mask off at the start. There was big slaps and chops and kicks, and Chuck Payne did a second rope moonsault at one point. But after a little bit of a referee tomfoolery, RSP low-blowed fucking Chuck Payne. It gave him Danny Havoc's finisher, the General Order 24, and pinned him and won the H2O World title. Oh my god. And after H2O were all standing, I'll get to the other matches in a minute, my second and first favourite matches. All H2O were standing in the ring with all their belts, it was great. And then G Raver sent out a little coffin with his mask on it, and basically said, RSP, me and you at the GCW H2O homecoming thing in a casket match. Oh my god. Craziness. Buried alive in casket matches, and Undertaker versus Kane. What the hell's going on? Bloody ridiculous. My second favourite match was probably Atticus against Jeff Cannibal, and they actually light tubes in the H2O Centre. There are light tubes in my first favourite match too, but not as many. Lots of light tube bundles, and light tubes with gusset plates on them, and skewers, and the Cannibal went to have a cannonball sent on in the corner, and Atticus turned around the barbed wire board, and there was like a sort of wine, not a wine rack, like a sort of carrying thing with light tubes on it. And Jeff Cannibal, Jesus Christ. So much wrestling to watch. My god. It's not easy being me, I tell you. So gave him the big Death Valley driver and Atticus into the thing. But Atticus, there's like the big bundle with gusset plates on at the very end, and Cannibal went to throw him Atticus. Atticus caught him, hit him back in the head, skewers in, headlock driver through a chair. Atticus is your new Danny Havoc fucking hardcore champion. Fuck yeah. And finally, the best match of H2O's Deathiversary was Chondo against G Raver, and I thought it was going to be a stapleton match because that's what that whole thing was, but it wasn't. It was just a hardcore match, and there was some fucking disgusting bumps. G Raver had his chips that were thrown at G Raver. G Raver stapled like balloons on strings to fucking Chondo's head, and he did the G Raver signature light tube bump, which was awesome. Chondo put like a light tube in between the ropes where G Raver was sitting, and done the sort of Nick Cage boot scrape thing, but fucking didn't have any fucking socks or shoes on, just barefoot. Disgusting. And probably one of the sickest bumps the whole thing. Although no, I would take that back. They put a shopping cart on top of 3 chairs and put the door of the sort of fuck H2O car on it. And Chondo gave G Raver like a sort of spinning neck breaker fucking thing, and oh my god, it looked so fucking dangerous and painful, but fucking hell. Then there was a board of nails in the ring, and G Raver gave his sort of hanging Chondo on the ropes things and puts it down into like a sort of slam, and my god, that looked fucking painful. Jesus Christ. And G Raver beat Chondo in a great fucking match. Great show for H2O. Great Deathiversary. I mean, well done for fucking H2O for going 5 years. They went from strength to strength to strength every year. But I'm just saying that it was on at the exact same time as ICW Nolan Edward, and I'm an ICW Nolan Edward mark, and I much prefer all death matches as opposed to 1 or 2. But hey ho, everybody's got their own, you know, proclivities, don't they? Anyway, that is this week's extra long edition of the news that broke glass. I'll be back next week, possibly even earlier than ever before, maybe even on a Wednesday or something like that, to go over ICW Pit Fighter, ICW Nolan Edward 14, FMW, the fucking Backyard Show, the Freedom Show, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, need to get some sleep before I go through all that fucking shit the weekend. As we say on this channel, no deathmatch, no life.